and Ranking Member. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here today and testifying before this committee. Our nation's public lands are an amazing resource, and we have a responsibility to manage them effectively. Effective stewardship, however, does not mean simply closing them off from all humanity. Stewardship of our public lands includes finding appropriate economic development to sustain local businesses and our national economy. Warrior Met Coal is one of our U.S. companies trying to work with the federal government to be a good steward of our public lands. Warrior Met Coal is an important economic driver in the state of Alabama. They employ 1,000 people and are the largest customer of our Port of Mobile. The company focuses on mining met coal. And as you know, met coal is a specific type of coal needed to make specialty steel used for roads, bridges, automobiles, renewable energy components, and a wide array of other critical uses. The department currently has a moratorium on the mining of thermal coal, which is used for energy production. However, we know that met coal is not the same as thermal coal, and the Department of Justice has stated that met coal is not subject to the reinstatement of the federal coal moratorium. Warrior Met Coal has had an application with the Department of Interior to develop 24 million tons of met coal on federal lands right next to their current operations in Tuscaloosa County, Alabama. Warrior Met developed their application in cooperation with the department, a process they started in 2009 and then restarted in 2014. They have jumped through every hoop that the department has asked because they want to make sure that they are good stewards of our public lands. Frustratingly, it has been nearly a year since they have received a substantial update from the department. We believe that enough is enough. We find the lack of transparency and communication entirely unacceptable, as do many Alabamians negatively impacted by this bureaucratic stonewall. The only feedback the company has heard is, quote, the environmental analyst for this application is currently under technical and legal review, unquote. Madam Secretary, how long do you think a complete application should take to review? It would seem to me that this is something that we could commit to finishing in a few weeks and not months.
Thank you very much for the question, Senator. And I know that these things can be frustrating sometimes. What I'll say that the BLM has made me aware of the importance of this project to you and the state. And I understand that it's under review and ongoing now. An important part of BLM's review is ensuring that it's consistent with any and all court decisions, recent court decisions. And so I know that they're working through all of those issues as well. We are more than happy to make sure that you get updated, that we get in touch with your staff and update you on the status of this project. I wish there was more that I could report now, but as soon as we can, get a firm update, we're happy to get back in touch with you. I know that's not what you want to hear, but we'll do our best.
Madam Secretary, I appreciate it. And what I hear from you is a commitment to keep me updated on this. I'd love to have your senior staff come over and brief me on any problems with the application. We have a lot of jobs and people who are working to achieve the American dream, and all of that is hanging in the balance on this decision, and we want to be good stewards of the land. We want to make this work in a way that works with the department. We are doing our part. We need y'all to do yours. So will you commit to me that you will send senior staff over to brief me on any type of impediments that we're having so that we can find a way to work through those and get this back on track?
One of my staff will be in touch with your staff very soon, and we'll figure out a time and day that suits you.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Completing that application would mean a great deal, not only to the hardworking men and women at Warrior Met, but obviously the community and the Port of Mobile and our state, so I appreciate that. Also, we want to make sure that everyone understands that the status quo just keeps the Chinese Communist Party in control, and they produce the same kind of coal obviously without environmental standards that we have in the U.S. So I think improving this lease would elevate our economy, keep production of this critical met coal in the U.S., and provide a cleaner solution than what we're doing or what they are doing there in China. So I believe it is a win for everyone. So look forward to meeting with your staff and figuring out how we can cut through the red tape. Madam Secretary, I want to flag for you that the Biden administration's new Waters of the U.S. rule is particularly harmful for the state of Alabama. This new rule is going to negatively impact over 64,000 small businesses in the great state of Alabama. Did you have a chance to review the rule during the interagency review process?
Senator, I apologize. I will have to get back with you about that rule, and we're happy to be in touch with you about that.
Okay, I would
and noted your opposition to it.
Yes, I'm hopeful that it wasn't rushed through for political purposes. This has significant impact. Alabama has a lot of private landowners adjacent to public lands. And as I consistently say, there are no greater stewards of our lands than our farmers, our foresters, and our cattlemen. When we increase the burdens on these private landowners, we make it hard for them to care for their lands. And when their lands are harder to steward, I believe it has a negative impact on taking care of our public lands. So I hope that you will consider taking a look at this. I'd love to have further dialogue so that we can make sure that protecting our public lands by defending private landowners from unnecessary burdens that our government places on them. One last final question, since I have a few more seconds. I'm also concerned about the Biden administration's consistent opposition to oil and gas. I want you to know that the Green New Deal policies and the foot dragging have downstream impacts for the people of Alabama. 2 years ago, a gallon of gasoline in Alabama cost less than $2. Since then, prices have risen over 50%. Alabamians depend on affordable gas to get groceries, to drive to work, to pick up their kids from school, and to go to church. I hope that you and the rest of this administration will start considering how the Green New Deal policies are failing the American people. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to following up on these important issues.
Thank you.
Senator Van Hollen.
Thank you, Senator Tester. Madam